Very good morning, students. Yesterday we were discussing about R and S configuration, and we have discussed about how to consider the molecule as R configuration as well as S configuration based on stereoisomerism. And also yesterday I have discussed about some of the rules how to identify the molecule as R as well as S configuration based on CIP rules, right? And there you have to remember one important point, that is fixing of the particular priority order based on atomic number of the first atom attached to carbon atom. So by using that particular rule, yesterday we have discussed some of the examples, and yesterday I have mentioned about one particular molecule, and I asked to assign that whether that molecule is an R configuration or S configuration, right? Probably most of the students have answered about that particular question, and that molecule was, this is the group, it is having OH, this is having H, probably this one was having CH, this is C, triple bond CH, and this was CH, double bond CH2. So this was the molecule yesterday we have mentioned in the last point of time. Now in case of this molecule, this is the carbon atom. It is attached to this carbon atom as well as this carbon atom, and here oxygen atom. Out of these four atoms, oxygen atom is having atomic number of 8, so naturally it gets maximum or highest priority. Now the question, between these two carbon atom, to which group we have to give the highest priority, next priority. Here it is attached to carbon, triple bond carbon, here it is attached to carbon, double bond carbon. So according to this particular CIP rules, whenever the atom is connected to triple bond, we have to take that particular group as, this is carbon, this is attached to carbon, it is attached to carbon, this is attached to carbon. It means that one carbon atom is attached to three other different carbon atoms. In case of this particular double bonded one, it is carbon, this is going to be one carbon, this is going to be one carbon. So naturally when the carbon atom is connected to three more carbon atoms, this group is going to be getting maximum priority compared to carbon atom having two other carbon atoms. So this will be order is second priority, this is going to be third priority naturally, this one will be fourth priority. Now in case of this one, what is the moment of that particular direction? So here this is first group, this is second group, this is one third group. Here it is going to be moving in this particular direction. It is commonly called as the clockwise direction. Clockwise direction refers to this configuration is referred to be as R isomer. Like that, so many examples we consider containing different types of atoms or group of atoms connected to the central carbon atom. Let us go with one more example. I think yesterday this was the fifth example, so I will consider this one as the sixth example. If you take, this is the carbon, another one simple example I will consider. This is CH3, next one it is OH, this is NH2, okay, and this one is going to be Cl. This is going to be Cl. Now in case of this one, instead of this one, I will go with that particular example. Here I will take NH3, this is CH3, and this one is going to be NH2. Slight changes. Now in case of this particular molecule, chlorine atom is there which is having highest atomic number, so priority order is maximum for that chlorine atom, so I will write this one as number 1. Next to chlorine, the nitrogen has atomic number 7, carbon has 6, oxygen has 8, this is second priority, this is third priority, and this one is fourth priority. Here the particular group's movement is going to be taking place in this direction. If it is going to be in this particular direction, it is called as clockwise. Clockwise refers to, as it is going to be mentioned, it is also considered as the configuration of R. So like that, number of example, if you go with another particular molecule, let us consider in this case we will go with a particular group which is having cyclic ring. So this is one particular group containing the three carbon atoms, cyclopropyl group, and this is going to be another one group, that is cyclobutyl group, and another one group we'll consider here, this is called as cyclopentyl group. Now what is the configuration assigned to this particular structure, whether it is showing R configuration or S configuration? Now here it is attached to carbon atom, here also carbon, here also carbon. But here it is attached to 2 other carbon atom, it is attached to 3 other carbon atom, this one is attached to 4 other different carbon atoms. So naturally, this particular group is going to be of highest priority, second priority goes to this one, third priority goes to this one, and fourth priority is no doubt about hydrogen. Now here in case of this particular arrangement, it is going to be in this direction, it is anti-clockwise direction. When the molecule is going to be having anti-clockwise direction, this particular isomer is referred to be as S isomer. If it is in clockwise direction, it is going to be R isomer. If it is in anti-clockwise direction, it is said to be what? S isomer. Here I took an example of the molecule which contains the cyclic rings. Now the very important point is that in all these examples, if you concentrate carefully, if you are observing carefully, in all these examples I have taken the lowest priority group at the vertical position, that is going to be below the plate. Then what will be the nature of the particular configuration when we take the particular lowest priority group in horizontal position or above the corresponding line? If it is present in case of vertical position, then this is the correct order as we have discussed earlier with some number of examples. Now I will go with a particular example where lowest priority group is not present in vertical position. In that case, how to identify the configuration of the molecule? If I take one simple example, okay, this is OH, this is hydrogen, next one is methyl group, and here it is going to be NH2 group. If you observe this particular molecule, here oxygen whose atomic number is going to be 8, so it is having highest priority. This is going to be number 1 priority. Second priority goes to nitrogen because atomic number is 7, and carbon atomic number is 6, it is third priority, and this is going to be fourth priority. In case of this particular structure, whenever the particular lowest priority group is present in horizontal position, we have to go with some interchanges. But here without interchanges, I will explain how to identify the correct configuration of the molecule without any type of interchanges. Just you observe the rotation here. This is the highest priority, next priority is going to be NH2, next priority is going to be what? CS3. Now this one is going to be in case of clockwise or anti-clockwise, this is going to be taking place in anti-clockwise. When it is going to be anti-clockwise, what is the configuration of the molecule? Configuration of the molecule is referred to be as S. But condition is that hydrogen or any particular group which is having lowest priority should be present in vertical position. But here it is present in case of horizontal position. Wherever horizontal position is going to be there, S configuration is completely changes into what? Immediately R configuration. Whenever lowest priority group is present in case of horizontal position, S, if the molecule is going to be obtained as S isomer, it is going to be taken as R isomer. If it is obtained as R isomer, it should be considered as S isomer. This is commonly called as a golden rule. This golden rule is going to be helpful in identification of the particular configuration R or S, and this should be followed. Conversion of S into R or R into S is going to be followed. Remember that lowest priority group is present in horizontal position in case of this Fischer projection formula. So what are the structures I have mentioned here? All these structures are found to be Fischer projection formula. In case of all these Fischer projection formula, if the lowest priority group is present in vertical position as I mentioned in case of these examples, then no need to change, whatever the configuration is going to be as it is. But whenever the lowest priority group is present in case of horizontal position, if S is obtained, it should be taken as R. If R is obtained, it is taken as S isomer. Remember carefully. Now, what is the configuration of this particular? What is the isomer? This is going to be called as R isomer. It is not said to be S isomer molecule. Next example is going to be another one example. This is CH3 I have taken. It is COOH. Okay. Next one is going to be what? CHO. CHO, and this group is referred to be as OH. Now this is another molecule. First you fix the priority order. Here oxygen, carbon, carbon and carbon. Oxygen means here naturally this one is going to be carrying highest priority. This is going to be remembered as 1. Here also carbon, here also carbon, here also carbon. But if you observe this one, it is C double bond OH. Next one, this is C double bond OH. Okay. Here carbon is connected to oxygen, here carbon is connected to oxygen, here carbon is not connected to oxygen, it is connected to hydrogen atom. So naturally I will write this particular priority group as fourth one. Now between these two groups, which is going to be having highest priority, it is connected to two oxygen atom, it is connected to only one oxygen atom, here also double bond, here also double bond. So naturally this group will be having second priority and this group is having third priority. Tell me the configuration, whether it is showing R configuration or S configuration very clearly. Now here the moment is going to be taking place in this which direction? This is taking place in 1, 2, 3. It is going to be taking place in case of clockwise or anti-clockwise. It is in clockwise direction. When the molecule is rotating, in case of this rotation is going to be taking place in clockwise direction, it is commonly called as R isomer. But condition, whenever the lowest priority group is present in horizontal position, R isomer is converted into what? S isomer. Here earlier it was S is converted into R, now R is going to be converted into S. It is mainly because of one thing, that is lowest priority group is present in horizontal position. If the lowest priority group is present in vertical position, no need to go for such type of changes. As it is going to be R, it is R, this is going to be S. Only this conversion is going to be considered whenever the lowest priority group is present in case of horizontal position. Like that, number of examples we may consider for assigning the R and S configuration for a particular molecule. Now 10th example, very important example. Now here in case of the previous examples, we have considered only those molecules containing only one chiral carbon atom. Suppose if you go with the two chiral carbon atom, then what is the particular configuration assigned to that molecule? This is COOH, this is OH, next one OH, again it is COOH, okay, this is H and this one is H. In examination, they'll ask about what is the IUPAC name of this particular molecule. IUPAC name you can identify very easily. Now IUPAC name of this particular compound is going to be, it is having two OH groups, this is OH and this is OH, these two are COH group. It is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, or you can move from bottom to top also, it makes no difference. Now 2,3 dihydroxy, 2,3 dihydroxy butane, okay, butane 1,4 dioic acid. Yesterday also we have discussed about this molecule. 2,3 dihydroxy butane 1,4 dioic acid. This is the IUPAC name, but in examination, first option will be there 2S3S with the same name. Second option 2S3R. Next one, third one 2R and 3S. Next one, fourth one, D option. It is 2R3R. Like different types of option will be there. Out of these, along with this one, same name will be there. 2S, 3S, 2,3 dihydroxy butane 1,4 dioic acid. 2S, 3R, 2,3 dihydroxy butane 1,4 dioic acid. Like that, same. Which of the following option is going to be correct with respect to this particular compound? Just now we have discussed about configuration of this R isomer or IS isomer with respect to only one carbon atom, but this is an example where two chiral carbon atoms are present. Now with respect to this molecule, what is the correct option? What is the correct option related to this molecule? Let us observe that molecule. Okay. Now we consider this molecule. First carbon atom is not chiral, fourth carbon atom is not chiral. This is the chiral carbon atom. This is also chiral carbon atom. I'll take that particular molecule here. This is COOH, and here it is what? OH is there. This is H, Next one OH, this is H, and here it is COOH. Same structure I have mentioned here. Now these two are found to be the chiral carbon atoms. This is chiral carbon atom. What is the order of priority with respect to this carbon atom? This is second carbon atom. It is second, it is third. No need to go with first and fourth one. Now here oxygen is there, this is hydrogen, this is carbon, and this is also found to be carbon. Between oxygen, carbon, hydrogen and carbon, first priority should be given to this OH group because of highest atomic number. Here carbon is bonded to this oxygen atom, double bond, carbon is bonded to single bond. So this is of highest priority and this is of third priority. Whole group is going to be taken as third priority and this hydrogen is of fourth priority. Now the moment is going to be in which direction? This is 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2 and 3 means it is going to be in clockwise or anti-clockwise. It is in case of anti-clockwise. It is taking place in case of anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise means it is going to be considered as yes, but hydrogen or lowest priority group is present in horizontal position instead of S. It should be taken as R isomer. Now with respect to second carbon atom, it is commonly called as 2R. This is going to be taken as 2R. This is in anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise means it is going to be S, but hydrogen is in horizontal position. It should be taken as R. So with respect to second carbon atom, the isomer is going to be 2R. Now with respect to this particular carbon atom, third carbon atom, this is OH. It is COH. This is going to be carbon with this particular group, and here also this is our first priority with respect to that particular oxygen atom, first priority because of highest atomic number. Next one is found to be carbon. Here also carbon, here also carbon. It is double bond. It is connected to single bond carbon, single bond oxygen and single bond carbon atom. So this is of second priority. This will be of third priority, and this is found to be fourth priority. So this is first one, second one, and third one. So here also it is going to be in this particular direction. If it is going to be in case of that is clockwise direction. If this is going to be in case of clockwise direction, the particular isomer is represented as R isomer, but here also lowest priority group is present in horizontal position, it becomes what? S. Now the particular with respect to third carbon atom, the configuration is 2R3S. What is the complete IUPAC name? 2R3S 2, 3. Okay, dihydroxy butane 1, 4 dioic acid. This is a complete IUPAC name with respect to this molecule. So, with respect to second carbon atom, the configuration is referred to be as R. With respect to third carbon atom, the configuration is referred to be as what? S isomer. So, this is the way in which we have to identify the molecule as R isomer, R configuration as well as S configuration, where more than one chiral carbon atoms are present. Let us go with one more example. One more example we will consider here. Just to copy it. First, one more example. Okay. Another example we will discuss here. This is CHO. CHO, right? No problem. This is COH. This is COH. This is H. This is H. This one is COOH. It is CHO. This is C. This is C. This is COOH. This will be H. This is OH. Sorry. This is H. Here it is OH. This is OH. CHO. This is C. This is C. This is COOH. It is OH. H. This is OH. This is H. CHO, this is C, this is C, this is COOH, and here it is OH, this is H, this is H and this is OH. Here I'll consider this molecule as this is A, this is B, C and D. Now with respect to these four compounds, what is the relationship between A and B? What is the relationship between B and C? What is the relationship between A and what? C, A and D. Next one, it is going to be C and D. So what these particular isomers are represented? So what is the relation? What type of compounds these are? A, B, B, C, set pair of compound. These two compounds are going to be called as what? B and C are going to be called by which one? C and D are going to be called by which one? So before going to that, first you identify the particular R and S configuration with respect to second and third carbon atom. With respect to second and third carbon atom. First, just previously we have discussed about one example. There we have noticed the configuration of the molecule as R and S. There also two chiral carbon atoms were there. Here also two chiral carbon atom. Carbon atom is bonded to double bonded oxygen atom. Here also double bonded oxygen atom. These two are not chiral. Only these two are found to be chiral in case of this molecule. Just within a minute, just to identify the configuration with respect to all these four molecules. First, within a minute. I'll give a minute of time. So identify the particular configuration with respect to second position as well as third position. Okay. Here we mention this is of first priority, and here carbon is bonded. Here also carbon is there. It is double bonded oxygen atom. It is single bonded oxygen atom. It is second priority. This is third priority. This is fourth priority. Here the moment is going to be taking place in this direction. In this direction, that is in case of anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise means it is going to be what? Yes, but here it is going to be in horizontal position. So it is going to be R configuration. Similarly, here this particular oxygen atom is having number 1. Carbon is going to be connected to oxygen, and here carbon is connected to double bonded oxygen atom. So this is second priority. Here this is third priority. This is going to be fourth priority. There will be no confusion. Concentrate carefully. So here this is first one. It is second one. This is going to be third one. Here it is going to be moving in this direction. If it is going to be moving in clockwise direction, clockwise means R. But here also, lowest priority group is present in case of horizontal position. It is going to be referred to be as S. Now with respect to second carbon atom, which is the second carbon atom here? This is second carbon atom because COH is going to be according to nomenclature. So it is going to be referred to be as 2S and 3R. Remember, 2S and 3R. We are going to be moving from bottom to top because of highest priority. Now with respect to second carbon atom, this is the first priority group. Here double bonded oxygen atom is there, it's a second priority group. This is third priority and this is going to be fourth priority. Here it is going to be moving in case of anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise, but hydrogen is present in case of horizontal position. When it is present in horizontal position, R converts into S or S converts into R. Now in case of anti-clockwise means yes, but here it is present in case of horizontal position. It is going to be referred to be as 2R. Next, with respect to this one, it is first priority group. Second priority group is going to be here carbon is double bonded to oxygen atom. Second one, this is third one, and this is going to be fourth one. Now in case of this particular structure, this is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 means it is going to be in clockwise direction. Clockwise means it is going to be referred to be as R configuration, but hydrogen is present in adjacent position. It is going to be commonly called as 2R3S, right? 2R3S. Now with respect to this molecule, it is a second carbon atom. Second carbon atom. This is first priority. This is second priority. It is third priority. This is going to be fourth priority. Here the direction is going to be in this particular way. It is anti-clockwise, but anti-clockwise means actually it is going to be S, but here it is present in horizontal position. When it is present in horizontal position, it converts into R isomer. If it is clockwise, it is R. If it is anti-clockwise, it is going to be S when hydrogen or lowest priority group is present below the plane or vertical position. Whenever it is present in case of horizontal position, R converts into S and S converts into R. If it is going to be in anti-clockwise direction, it is going to be called as S, but since it is present in horizontal position, it is 2R. Next, here with respect to this one, it is first one, this is second priority group, this is third priority group, this is going to be fourth priority group. Remember, in this case, the whole group is going to be becoming one particular group for this carbon atom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be in this direction. It is in anti-clockwise direction. When it is anti-clockwise, it is called as S. But here lowest priority group is present in horizontal position. It becomes what? R configuration. First one 2s 3r. Next one 2r 3s. Next one 2r 3r. 2r 3r. What's the configuration with respect to this molecule? Here with respect to this carbon atom, this is first priority, this is second one, this is going to be third priority, it is fourth priority. It is taking place in this direction, that is clockwise direction. Clockwise means it is R, but hydrogen is present in the horizontal position, it becomes what? 2s. Now here this is OH first one, this is second one priority, this is third priority, this is going to be fourth one. It is going to be taking place in this direction, that is clockwise. Clockwise means R, but hydrogen is present in horizontal position, so it is going to be called as S. 2s 3s. Very clearly we have assigned the configuration for these four molecules: 2s 3r, 2r 3s, 2r 3r, and corresponding to s 3s. Now what is the relationship between A as well as B? Whether these A and B are commonly called as, in the four options they will be mentioning, A and B compounds are called as enantiomers. A and B compounds are called as diastereomers. A and B compounds are going to be called as identical. Right? Four different types of options will be there. Now we have observed between corresponding A as well as B. S is converted into R and R is going to be converted into S. When S is converted into R and R is going to be converted into corresponding S, then the particular compounds are referred to be as enantiomers. Enantiomers. Wherever the conversion of S into R and R into S takes place completely, those set of compounds are commonly called as enantiomers. Whether these two compounds are found to be mirror images of each other, definitely these two are found to be mirror images. OH is found to be there, OH. These two sides, hydrogen is present. Naturally, these particular set of compounds are enantiomers. Now, what is the relationship observed in case of B as well as C? Here 2R is converted into same 2R, but 3S is going to be converted into 3R. So when both groups are going to be converted completely, then it is called as enantiomer. Here 2R is converted into 2R, is it remained as it is, but S is going to be converted into R at the third carbon atom. Because of that reason, these corresponding compounds are definitely called as diastereomers. These are commonly called as diastereomers. What are diastereomers? Those are stereoisomers, and they are not mirror images of each other. This one, OH and H, they are not overlapping on each other. So because of that reason, they are going to be called as diastereomers compound. S into R, R into S, completely it is called as enantiomer. If only one is going to be changing, other remains as it is, means completely it is called as diastereomers. Then A and C. What is the relationship between A and C? A and C is also, S is going to be converted into R and R is going to be remains as R itself. When only one of the particular carbon atom configuration changes, those particular substances, molecules are commonly known as diastereomers. A and C compounds are also called as diastereomers. Diastereomers means those are the optical active compounds which are not mirror images of each other. OH and OH is going to be there, but here OH and H is there, so they are not mirror images. Diastereomers are not mirror images, but enantiomers are mirror images to each other. What about the relationship between A and D? S is converted into S and R is converted into S. When S is converted into S and R is going to be converted into S, they are also commonly called as what? Diastereomers compound. Then C and D. R is converted into S and R is also going to be converted into S. When R is converted into changes into S and R is also changes into S at the third carbon atom, these compounds are commonly called as what? Enantiomers. These are commonly called as what? Enantiomer compound. Enantiomer is mirror images of each other. Suppose if you place the particular mirror over here, these are non-superimposable mirror images. These two are also non-superimposable mirror images. So one thing is going to be very clear. S is converted into R and R is converted into S. That would be called as enantiomers. If on only one carbon atom, for example B and C, if you take B and C, R is going to be remain as it is on second carbon atom, but third carbon atom S converts into R, and only one carbon atom change is observed from S to R or R to S. Those are commonly called as diastereomers. When it is called as enantiomer, enantiomers are the corresponding compounds of the molecules. So where the particular configuration changes on both the carbon atom S into R or R into corresponding S, those particular species are commonly called as what? Enantiomers compounds. Here I have mentioned about one of the particular word, that is when the compounds are referred to be as identical. Compounds are referred to be as identical if I go with the particular configuration. This is OH, this is H, this is OH, and this is going to be H, and this is COOH. Now if I go with another particular compound COOH, this is carbon, this is carbon, this is going to be COOH, and this one is going to be what? H, this is going to be H, this is OH, and this is going to be OH. You assign the configuration in case of these two molecules at the second and third carbon atom. From the top to bottom you can go, or bottom to top you can go. It makes no difference because at both the positions same groups are present. You assign the configuration with respect to this molecule, and their presence of plane of symmetry is present, and these molecules are optically inactive compounds, and such type of species are commonly called as what? Identical molecules. So these two are found to be identical, and as I mentioned, this one, it is a set of what? Enantiomers are corresponding diastereomers is there. So this is about the arrangement, the particular assigning the configuration of the molecule as R configuration as well as S configuration. Based on the conversion of R into S or S into R, it is possible to identify the molecules as enantiomers or diastereomers. Okay, this is about complete information related to what? R and S configuration. Right, this is about complete optical isomerism. We have discussed thoroughly about different aspects of optical isomerism in case of various molecules. Now here we have to discuss about one important mechanism, that is SN1 mechanism. SN1 mechanism. Already I have completed about the nucleophilic substitution reactions. And there I have mentioned about, we will discuss about SN1 and SN2 mechanism after completion of optical isomerism, because some of the terms will come across in case of SN1 and SN2 mechanism, that is retention of configuration, inversion of configuration, R configuration, S configuration. So first I have completed about optical isomerism. Now it is with respect to SN1 mechanism. What is SN1 mechanism? Here this one indicates unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. It is generally called as unimolecular nucleophilic substitution. Unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. What type of questions will be there in examination? In case of board examination, direct question will be there, explain SN1 mechanism with an example, board examination. But in case of competitive examinations, you will come across with various types of questions. Which of the following molecule undergoes SN1 mechanism very easily? Which of the following molecule does not undergo SN1 mechanism? What is the order of reactivity of the molecule towards SN1 mechanism? So many different types of questions are going to be there related to SN1 as well as SN2 mechanism. SN1 refers to what? Unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Unimolecular refers to, in that particular one, molecularity of the reaction is going to be equal to 1. Molecularity is equal to 1. In that particular reaction, molecularity is equal to 1. What is the meaning of molecularity? Molecularity is nothing but it is the number of molecules of the reactant which takes place in a chemical reaction. Number of molecules of the reactant which are involved in the chemical reaction is going to be there. Molecularity is equal to 1. More clarity about this molecularity will come across in chemical kinetics. And order of this reaction is also equal to 1. Order of this reaction is also said to be 1. Both molecularity and order of the reaction, more detailed studies going to be there in case of chemical kinetics. Now molecularity of this particular reaction is going to be equal to 1 and order is also going to be equal to 1. There are so many reactions are going to be there depending upon order of the reaction. First order reaction, second order reaction, third order reaction, pseudo first order reaction, zero order reaction. So this is following what? First order kinetics, first order reaction. Now what type of molecules will undergo this particular SN1 mechanism? Let us consider one simple example to explain about SN1 mechanism. That is hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide. Hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide. Hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide takes place here. The first I'll go with particular reaction. What is tertiary butyl bromide? Tertiary butyl group is present. It is called as tertiary butyl group, and this one bromine is present. When this is treated with potassium hydroxide, which potassium hydroxide? Aqueous. When it is treated with aqueous potassium hydroxide, the compound obtained is CH3, this is CH3, this is CH3, and here it is going to be OH. This particular OH nucleophile attacks the particular position on this Br, and Br is going to be replaced by OH minus plus, it is going to be KBr. It is going to be KBr. Instead of aqueous KOH, you can take the aqueous medium, that just water itself. Now, this molecule is called as tertiary butyl bromide. Fine. And what is the product name? Product name is going to be tertiary butyl. Which group is present? OH. Tertiary butyl alcohol. This is a reaction, simple reaction. Then, what is the mechanism of this particular reaction? Mechanism of this particular reaction. The mechanism of this hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide takes place in two steps. What are the two steps for the hydrolysis of this particular molecule? Step 1. Step 1. In the first step, what happens? Ionization of tertiary butyl bromide takes place. Ionization of tertiary butyl bromide. This tertiary butyl bromide is a molecule containing bromine as the leaving group. This is CH3 carbon, this is CH3, CH3, this one is bromine. So this molecule undergoes ionization. Why it undergoes ionization? Because bromine is only one of the better leaving group. After the ionization process, this is CH3, next one CH3, this is positive charge plus this is bromide ion. Now what is the name of this species? It is tertiary butyl carbocation. Tertiary butyl carbocation. Ionization takes place, which is a reversible process. Formation of tertiary butyl carbocation takes place. After the formation of tertiary butyl carbocation, second step occurs. What happens in case of second step? Attack of nucleophile. Attack of nucleophile on carbocation. This particular carbocation come across with the particular nucleophile. Which is the nucleophile here? KOH is the molecule dissociates into K plus and OH minus. Now this OH minus is referred to be as a nucleophile. Now this nucleophile attacks easily on the carbocation because carbon atom bears positive charge. Now this is CH3, this is carbon, it is CH3, next one CH3, it is positive charge plus OH minus attacks here. Whenever OH minus attacks on this carbon atom, it is CH3, this is going to be CH3, it is OH. Product is tertiary butyl alcohol. What's the name of the product? Tertiary butyl alcohol. Very simple mechanism. This is a reaction, common reaction. This reaction takes place in two steps. First step is the ionization of tertiary butyl bromide. Formation of carbocation takes place. Second one, attack of nucleophile in the carbocation takes place. This OH minus is serving as a nucleophile which attacks on the carbocation to form the respective product, that is tertiary butyl alcohol. Now this is a simple mechanism, and if it is asked in the board examination, you have to write only this much about mechanism for the SN1 reaction. So this is about, and just I'll explain about the kinetic part of this particular mechanism. Copy these two steps very fast. Okay, bit faster. Very simple, and one of the most questioning case of most important question in board examination. I'll discuss about the how this question, what type of questions will be based upon this SN1 mechanism. First reaction is I mentioned. After that, the same reaction takes place in two steps: ionization of tertiary butyl bromide and attack of nucleophile on the carbocation. Further, what happens is K plus will be combining with the Br minus. When K plus combines with Br minus, whatever the product KBr was obtained, that is obtained. Now, what are the important points related to this particular SN1 mechanism? First important point related to this one, it is unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Already I have mentioned about this one. Unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Second one, molecularity of this reaction, already this point also I have mentioned, is equal to 1. And third one, order of this reaction is also equal to 1. About order and molecularity, as I mentioned, we will be studying in case of chemical kinetics. Third, next fourth point is going to be, rate of this particular reaction is equal to K into Rx to the power 1. Here Rx means it is an alkyl halide. When rate of the corresponding reaction depends upon the concentration of alkyl halide. So that is rate of reaction depends only on concentration of alkyl halide. Instead of tertiary butyl bromide, just I mentioned alkyl halide. Why it is going to be depending upon the concentration of only alkyl halide? Remember, this step is going to be slow step and this step is going to be fast step. Slow step is commonly called as RDS. What is this RDS? RDS is called as rate determining step. Rate determining step. Always slow step is commonly called as the rate determining step. Rate of the reaction depends upon the particular slow step. And in case of slow step, which molecule is present? Only alkyl halide is present. So rate of the reaction depends upon the concentration of alkyl halide. This is a constant. So it does not depend upon the concentration of the nucleophile, OH minus or some other particular nucleophile. It depends upon the concentration of only alkyl halide. It never depends upon the concentration of this particular nucleophile. This is an important factor. So rate of the reaction depends only on concentration of alkyl halide, because slow step is going to be considered as a rate determining step. In this rate determining step only alkyl halide is present. Hence rate is equal to K into Rx to the power of 1. Here if it is going to be power 1 is going to be there, it is going to be order is 1. Here if it is power is going to be 2, then it is going to be taken as second order context. Order becomes what? 2. And next point related to this particular SN1 mechanism, the presence of polar protic solvent. It favors in presence of polar protic solvent. Solvent must be polar protic solvent. In presence of polar protic solvent, this particular reaction takes place extensively. The best example for this polar protic solvent is going to be H2O. So in presence of this water, the reaction takes place extensively. So very important point here, this is going to be taking place in presence of polar protic solvent. And here concentration of nucleophile. Concentration of nucleophile need not to be stronger. Concentration of nucleophile need not to be stronger. If the nucleophile is going to be taken as weak nucleophile, then also the reaction takes place. Why? Very simple. Even any type of nucleophile can attack on the positively charged carbon atom. Whether the nucleophile is weak or strong, that does not depend. So because of that reason, concentration of nucleophile need not to be stronger. And seventh important point is going to be whether this reaction is going to be an exothermic reaction or endothermic reaction. Here the cleavage of the carbon and bromine bond takes place and formation of carbon and oxygen bond takes place. When the carbon and bromine bond is going to be cleaved, there is a formation, there is a absorption of energy. When carbon and oxygen bond is produced, it is not cleaved here, carbon and oxygen bond formation takes place. When the bond formation takes place, this bond is going to be stronger and some amount of energy is released. Whatever amount of energy is observed for the breaking of this bond, more amount of energy is observed because bond is going to be stronger. Next, if you come across with the thermodynamic part, this particular reaction is an exothermic reaction. This reaction is an exothermic reaction, that is delta H is equal to negative. When the delta H of the reaction is equal to negative, whether reaction takes place at low temperature or high temperature, probably you have read about Le Chatelier's principle in equilibrium. Whenever the reaction is going to be exothermic in nature, that particular reaction takes place or it favors at low temperature condition. That is an important point. Presence of low temperature favors this SN1 reaction because the reaction is basically exothermic one. Why it is exothermic? Just I have mentioned about that one. So the reaction is basically exothermic. And next one, 8th point, presence of electron releasing group favors SN1 mechanism. Presence of electron releasing group favors SN1 mechanism. Wherever electron releasing groups are present, all those electron releasing groups are favoring SN1 mechanism. If the compound contains electron releasing group, generally it goes with SN1 mechanism. If the compound contains electron withdrawing group, it goes with SN2 mechanism. And next point, order of reactivity of alkyl halide. Always it is 3 degree greater than 2 degree greater than 1 degree greater than methyl halides. So this is the order of reactivity of alkyl halides. 3 degree alkyl halide is going to be reacting or it undergoes SN1 reaction very easily compared to 2 degree. 2 degree undergoes very easily compared to 1 degree. This, what is the main reason for this particular one? Here in case of 3 degree, 2 degree, 1 degree, formation of carbocation takes place. Probably it is not clear here, just I'll mention here. Because of that 3 degree, 2 degree and 1 degree, formation of carbocation takes place in this reaction in the first step. Just now I have explained. When the formation of carbocation takes place, which carbocation is more stable? You know very well 3 degree carbocation is found to be more stable. So this is mainly because of stability of which one? Carbocation. When the 3 degree carbocation is more stable than 2 degree, 2 degree is more stable than 1 degree carbocation. So order of reactivity of alkyl halide also takes place in this particular manner. 3 degree alkyl halides are more reactive towards SN1, 2 degree alkyl halides are somewhat less reactive, and 1 degree alkyl halides are least reactive, and compared to 1 degree methyl halides are again least reactive towards SN1 mechanism. And last point I will mention here, this 10th one, the rearrangement of carbocation takes place. Rearrangement of carbocation takes place, but it does not affect what? Rate of reaction. That rearrangement does not affect the rate of reaction. Rearrangement of carbocation refers to what? Conversion of primary into secondary carbocation or primary into tertiary carbocation by the shift, that is hydride shift, methyl shift, then phenyl shift. Wherever such type of rearrangement is only possible, that rearrangement also takes place in that one. But you should remember, it does not, this is very important part, it does not affect the corresponding rate of reaction. Rate of reaction is going to be affected by only formation of carbocation, but rearrangement will not affect the particular rate of a chemical reaction. So these are some important points related to what? This SN1 mechanism. Once again, very quickly, it is an unimolecular nucleophilic substitution reaction. Molecularity is going to be equal to only one because only one alkyl halide. In slow step, here just I will mention the slow step or RDS for these two steps. RDS is going to be considered. Order of this reaction is also equal to 1, and kinetic part of this one, rate is equal to K into Rx to the power of 1, because the rate of reaction depends only on the concentration of alkyl halide. That is, slow step is going to be considered as RDS. In that slow step only alkyl halide is there, so rate depends on the only concentration of alkyl halide. And rate of the reaction does not depend upon the concentration of nucleophile. Already I have mentioned about that one. So polar protic solvent favors this particular SN1 mechanism. It favors polar protic solvent, here you can mention favors SN1 reaction. This particular reaction takes place very easily in case of polar protic solvent. Best example is going to be water or alcohol or acetic acid. Those are the example. Concentration of nucleophile need not to be stronger. Already I have explained this one. Because of the formation of carbocation, any type of nucleophile can attack on the particular carbocation, whether it is strong or weak. Reaction is exothermic in nature because delta H is going to be equal to, that is delta H is equal to negative. Why? Because of cleavage of weak bond and formation of strong bond. And because of exothermic nature, the reaction favors at low temperature. Presence of electron releasing favors SN1 mechanism. As in more and more number of electron releasing groups are present, SN1 mechanism takes place extensively. Order of reactivity of alkyl halide is going to be mentioned, and rearrangement of carbocation also takes place. Rearrangement of carbocation also takes place in case of this one. Then one simple example I will consider here. Already I have mentioned here, the rate of the reaction depends upon the concentration of only alkyl halides. Only alkyl halides. If rate of reaction depends upon the concentration of only alkyl halides, then if you consider rate of hydrolysis of Rx, rate of hydrolysis of Rx is, if you go with first simple question, Here if I go with some molecule, this is CH3, this is carbon, this is CH3, this is CH3, this is Cl. And next example CH3, this is CH3, this is CH3 and this is Cl. And another one CH3, this is CH2, next one CH2, next one Cl. Now what is the order of reactivity order of rate of hydrolysis of this one? So this one you can take number 1, this is going to be number 2 and this is going to be number 3. Very simple question, primitive question. It is 3 degree alkyl halide, it is 2 degree alkyl halide, it is 1 degree alkyl halide. Already I mentioned about this one. So order of hydrolysis is going to be 1 is greater than 2, 2 is greater than 3. Very simple thing. Depends upon the nature of alkyl halide. Tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive and primary alkyl halides are found to be least reactive in nature. Now if I go with another example, CH3, this is CH3. I'll consider here. About stereochemistry, but I'll explain next. Stereochemistry is also very important here. Second example I'll consider here. Second example, CH3, this is CH3, next one CH3, this is Cl. And one more molecule, this one is CH2Cl. Next one is going to be, this is CH, it is CH3, this is Cl. One more compound, this is CH2, double bond CH, it is CH2Cl. What is the rate of hydrolysis with respect to these 4 compounds? Which molecule undergoes hydrolysis faster when compared to other 3 different types of molecules? Follow this one. Here this is going to be the bond is going to be cleaved, it forms a tertiary carbocation, very important. This one is going to be, this bond is cleaved out, it forms the benzyl carbocation. This one, this bond is going to be cleaved out. What type of carbocation? It is going to be benzyl, resonance stabilized. This is also resonance stabilized. In case of this particular molecule, benzylic group is going to be there, and moreover it is going to be secondary benzyl with secondary carbocation. This is benzyl with what? Primary carbocation. This one is an example for allyl carbocation. Now in case of this one, these examples, it is stabilized by hyperconjugation, this is stabilized by resonance, this is stabilized by resonance. Resonance with what secondary carbocation is that? This one is going to be an allyl carbocation. So what is the order of reactivity of these 4 compounds? Now here this is also benzyl and this is also benzyl. Benzyl with primary and benzyl with secondary. So naturally benzyl with secondary or tertiary are found to be more stable carbocation. The rate of hydrolysis is maximum in case of third one. Now this is benzyl and this is going to be tertiary butyl carbocation. Between simple benzyl and tertiary butyl carbocation, this is going to be stabilized by what? Hyperconjugation. This is a somewhat more stable carbocation than the simple benzyl carbocation. So naturally the first one is going to be more reactive compared to next this one. It is a benzyl carbocation. Naturally it is going to be stabilized by resonance compared to the. It is also stabilized by resonance, but here resonance structures are more compared to this allyl carbocation. So least reactive compound is going to be 4th one. So what is the order of reactivity of these 4 compounds towards SN1 mechanism? The order of reactivity of these 4 compounds, 3 is greater than 1, greater than 2, greater than corresponding 4. In case of SN1 mechanism, order of reactivity of alcohol purely depends upon the stability of carbocation, nothing else. Only depends upon the stability of carbocation. If you remember the stability of carbocation, very clearly you can identify which molecule is more reactive and which molecule is going to be what? Least reactive in nature towards SN1 mechanism. And in case of this one, I will explain about even the stereochemical part here. In case of SN1 mechanism, next point I have to mention, there is a formation of racemic mixture. There is an inversion of configuration as well as retention of configuration is taking place. With respect to that racemic mixture, and I will go with some of the different types of example about this particular SN1 mechanism. All these points are found to be very important for the point of competitive examination. So tomorrow I'll go with some of the examples as I mentioned here. With that example, stereochemical part of SN1 mechanism, and I'll continue with what SN2 mechanism. Thank you, one and all.